Hello, everyone. Welcome,
Hello,
welcome, welcome
hello.
to the Art of Intuition. Hey, Haley.
Hi, Stephanie.
Oh, this is so exciting. I'm so excited to get started with this. Uh, we were just having a conversation off camera. I love what you said. Can you share it again?
So my blazer has these bell sleeves. It's brand new. And Stephanie said it's very 70s. And I said, yes, it's very 70s. Feels like Woodstock. Give me a joint and let's go. I don't smoke weed
I was like,
though.
awesome. Yes, please. I personally am a cannabis advocate. I believe that it should be something that we get to do because it helps us as humans. Do you smoke?
No, I used
No.
to, but it gives me anxiety. So I stopped about 5 years ago. I'm still a
Interesting.
huge advocate for it. It comes from the ground, it's a plant. Um, I use hemp products all the time. And CBD products all the time. I just don't smoke weed.
Yeah, interesting. I actually smoke to calm my anxiety. So interesting
Well,
how
I
it
did hard
changes.
drugs. So
Right. Oh my
sobriety is
God,
the
I love it.
name.
I love it. I love it. Okay, we are gonna have so much fun. So we're on different ends of the world right now. It feels like you're so far away and yet like we're here talking to each other. I love this. We so this was originally your idea,
Yep.
right? So please share the art of intuition. What was your vision for this podcast?
Well, so the art of intuition, it started out with I was going to try and host like a weekly workshop. The initial one was the basics of tarot. It was an event that I had held, and there was a few people that came to it. But it just wasn't the turnout that I wanted. Ironically enough, Joe Rogan RSVP'd to my event on LinkedIn. And so I kind of stepped back from it and looked at it as a whole, and realized that not having a co-host, not having somebody else that I'm able to talk to just wasn't my vibe. I'm not capable of just sitting here and having a conversation with myself and giving a pause for people to agree that aren't there. But the real vision of it is intuition goes into so much. It goes into your daily mundane decisions of which route you're going to take to work, what clothes you want to wear, what you're going to do for the day, how your mood is going to be. And it goes so much deeper into terms of magic and witchcraft and tarot. And I use my intuition to help guide me to find missing people. And so really just diving deep into really what intuition is and all of the different ways that intuition plays a part in all of our lives and help us to all become a little bit more intuitive.
Yeah, so let's give our listeners a little introduction. Who are we? Um, so my name is Stephanie Brooklyn. I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a psychic medium and a Reiki master and intuitive business coach. So I apply my intuition in a lot of different places in my business. I absolutely love diving into the Akashic Records. It's something I learned about 6 months ago, and absolutely so much fun to open people up to the profound realness of our Akash and what is up there in that record. I really absolutely it's like one of those things that I was seeking it, but it was also seeking me, and when I first opened it up, I was like, oh my God, yes. And then I started to check in with my guides, ended up meeting my guides, which was so cool. So like everything that started out with just psychic mediumship and Reiki became like it blew me wide open. It
Mm-hmm.
totally did. So, yeah, based in Phoenix, but honestly serving the world. I can do everything I do online as well as I can in person. So, anywhere in the world, if you're needing help, if you want some guidance, you want to open up your Akashic records, by all means, reach out. This is not a sales pitch, though. I would love for you to share.
Well, and you can't forget, Stephanie also is the founder of the Integrative Wellness Collective, which is a huge community, an ever growing community of healers, intuitives, mediums, It's a beautiful,
Practitioners.
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful, yeah, holistic health practitioners, you name it. If it deals with the healing and wellness side of the life that we all live and the world that we are in today, you can bet that there's somebody in this collective that will relate to whatever it is you're looking for. Um, it's a beautiful collective. I'm glad to be a founding member. So you can't forget about that, Stephanie.
Thanks,
um,
Haley. Thank you.
yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. The collective is my baby. It's my dream business. So it's been really great. We actually just celebrated a 1 year anniversary of being in business. So this is really, really exciting to be at the very beginning of this beautiful dream. So thank you for the reminder.
you're welcome. As for myself, I am Haley Baker. I am based in South Dakota. I am the CEO, COO of Medium for the Missing. I am a psychic medium, private investigator, specialize in investigating missing persons cases, cold cases. But I also take on the rebuilding of the justice system. As for the intuitive side of myself, I have always been a psychic medium. I started honing into my gifts when I was 19. I help a lot of spirits cross over. I help a lot of spirits get detached from the earthly realm and to be able to go to the upper world. I love to teach the knowledge and wisdom that has been bestowed upon me from not only great, great, great teachers of mine and friends and family, but also just from my own research and truly diving deep into what it all is. I'm also a practicing witch. And so herbs is really where I started my witchcraft journey. And now I have over 90 herbs I travel with everywhere I go, unless I'm flying. Then that's a little bit of a different story. um, and so, yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm excited for this. I think that it'll take a couple episodes to probably get in the groove, but it'll be fun. I think that we're going to change the spirituality community and
Yeah,
be able to open a lot of doors with this podcast, be able to have on a lot of guests with a lot of different perspectives, open up our own imagination and mind and understanding of how other people are and how intuition affects everybody. I'm excited.
for sure. Me too. I honestly, part of my excitement is what I've been kind of diving deep into over the last couple months. I'm getting a lot more spiritually based, which is totally changing my perspective on my abilities, what I can do, but also kind of reaffirming the things that I have in my wheelhouse, the things that I know that I can do that are gifts from God,
Yeah.
and that is something that it's a powerful shift in my awareness and what I understand about who I am on this planet, where I'm going, what I'm doing. And I think that that is another really important message to put out there, because so many of us healers, psychics have this persecution wound or feeling not good enough wound that came from, centuries of lifetimes of us being either abused or murdered or somehow, assaulted for our gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And we're at a time now that we can do this. We can be a part of the world and provide our services in a place of, oh my God, sorry.
No
Yeah.
worries. No, I completely agree. We are in
Okay.
an ever changing world. Everybody's waking up. They've been waking up for a few years, but now the heavy hitting waking up is happening. We just had Pluto move into a new sign, and now we're going to spend the next 18 years in a different cycle than what we've been in. And I think this is a perfect time to really dive deep. We've got a lot of planetary aspects that are happening that are helping to shift our consciousness and awaken a lot of our consciousness and the collective consciousness. Um,
Yes,
and it's exciting to look at all of that. Full disclaimer for all of our listeners, uh, you don't have to agree with what we're saying. But if you want to listen, go ahead. Maybe we can open up your minds. We can open up the conversation. Um, You can have your own beliefs with our podcast. We aren't going to force our beliefs onto you. We are just sharing our beliefs and our experience, our wisdom, and hoping that it helps somebody out there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So before we hit record, you were talking about the randomness of our conversations, and I think honestly, I mean, we could weave into so many different things in these conversations.
Every time
I
we
mean,
talk,
what?
it's just
You've
something
got
different.
tarot, right?
Yeah.
You've got tarot, you've got witchcraft, you've got herbs, you've got we're talking about demystifying magic and talking about these concepts of changing perspectives on how energy works, how our intuition works, how our frequency affects our things around us. So, like all of this stuff that's very next level consciousness kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So many people are talking about how we're shifting to 5D, which is a completely different conversation. But hold that thought. I gotta see what's going on with my dog.
Oh, well, and I know you probably can't hear me, Stephanie. If you can, you can. But you brought up a great topic of shifting into 5D. We've already shifted. We've been shifted for months. Um, the shift happened, and everybody was like, "Oh, we're shifting." No, it happened at once. Our timelines converged and merged. Timelines merged, and now we're all on a different playing field. And it's not like it's a continuous we're leading up to it happening. It just happened. And it's a huge thing to recognize. Once you start realizing now we're living in 5D, a lot of things can change for you. And I have realized it, but I haven't dug too deep into the dimensional knowledge and research. I know things are different. I know I can see a lot more. I know a lot more. I know that my power is a lot more. But that the old ways just aren't going to satisfy anymore.
Yeah, we've shifted. I agree. I was just recently, I did an Akashic Records reading, and after the reading, I was doing some self-healing, just opening up to Reiki, and I literally spoke light language. I channeled and spoke light language, and I was like, okay, that's new. I've never done that. However, when I do Akashic Records readings, I communicate with the star families and I understand what they're saying. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like I don't understand it. And in fact, I posted about it on Facebook in one of the groups, in one of the light worker groups, right? And somebody said, you know what you said? And I immediately, yeah, in English, it was this, 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 and this. Like I knew immediately because I understand it, even though like consciously I don't understand. I couldn't like write the words down and translate, but I'm starting to understand how this all works with our galactic families and having communications through our psychic abilities and through channeling. That is a whole new realm of my abilities. It's just kind of blowing my mind a little bit right now.
Well,
So,
and that's something that I love about the differences with us, especially, and why I think this podcast is going to be really good, is because you do a lot more on the astral plane, a lot more of the, like you said, like our galactic families and stuff. Like you do a lot with that. Whereas me, I work with deities and different gods and different entities and things like that. And I work with the physical earth spirits a lot more, and I'm more into the witchcraft side of things. Like for me, for the last, I don't know, 6 7 months, probably every time that I have gone to do like a spell jar or a spell of sorts, I get prepared to do it. I'm writing out what I need and things like that and my intentions of it, and I don't even get to the spell and it's already done. And it's wild how that works, because normally for me, when I do a spell jar, I'm very fond of my spell jars. um it's always been until I'm completed with putting everything together and taking the time to really sit down and do an entire ritual, it doesn't come to fruition. And now it's starting to come into fruition, and that happened right after that 5D shift.
wow.
And I, to this day, people have always said, well, how do you manifest? You think a thought, you let it go and let it be. trust in the higher power, trust in the universe. My higher power is the universe. My higher power is also God. You know, I have numerous higher powers. I work with numerous gods and goddesses, and it's one of those where I think it all sits on the same playing field, but the universe is above it all. Um,
Yeah.
and that's my belief.
Yeah. I personally believe that God is just an energy. And so that is why you'll hear me refer to God as spirit, universe, because I literally think it's all the same thing. And we are God. We have the energy within us that connects us to the universe, that makes us who we are as psychics. It makes us connected. And honestly, I also don't believe that this is something that's special. It's just an enhanced skill because I pressed into it as a young person. Now, I had my first psychic experience when I was 5 years old. And
Mhm.
it continued because I had permission from my mom to explore the idea. She expressed that she was also a psychic when she was a kid. So I was like, well, okay, then I can do this. And I continued to have psychic abilities, energy transfer, like things that happened where I could feel energy moving, which led me into Reiki,
Mhm.
and information that I would get, like claircognizance, that just I would download and I would know things, and I didn't know why I knew things, So, I mean, officially as a psychic, claircognizant, clairsentient, clairaudient, and clairvoyant, and all of these different things have different meanings, which we can go into later. But essentially, it makes me a powerful psychic. And
Mhm.
I have done the physical, three-dimensional crossovers with spirits. I've done that. I actually had an experience with my dad, which I'll share later. I had an experience with an old friend from high school, crossing him over. And I mean, the experience itself really was guidance from spirit
Mhm.
and allowed me to really expand my understanding of my capacity of what I could do. So I think a lot of what we're talking about with the art of intuition is exploration. It's getting into um higher consciousness, but also getting into like higher abilities. It's extrasensory perception, ESP. Is that essentially there are greater functions in the human mind, and most people just don't because they don't think that they're allowed to, or maybe because, they've had a religion that have told them that it's evil or something, and so they're afraid of it,
Mhm.
but I don't think that that's even realistic.
Yeah.
I think that
I mean,
it's
I think that it's
humans have
realistic.
capacities.
It's realistic to an extent. I know a lot of people that are very supportive of what I do, but they don't necessarily believe in it. They don't want anything to do with it. I have a really good buddy that I offered to give a tarot reading to, and he was like, "Nope, I don't believe in that." I said, "Okay, well, when you're ready, if you ever are ready, call me." And he looked at me very taken aback, and I was like, "What? Like that's what you believe in? That's okay. I'm just telling you that I know from my experience over 8 years of reading tarot and helping numerous spirits cross over from tarot readings alone that, you know, it works." And he just kind of looked at me and he goes, "I can dig it." And I was like, "And this is why we're friends." Because whether you accept it or not on a belief system level, that's okay. But you don't have to belittle somebody or make them feel insignificant or like they're wrong or they're crazy. Because let's be honest here, when it comes especially to magic, and having a craft and doing, having altars set up for your deities and things like that, you kind of sound batshit crazy. Um, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of people putting out a lot of misinformation through social media, especially TikTok. Like witch
Mm.
talk has blown up. And I sit on there and I'll scroll through TikTok one day and I'll see something come across and like those correspondences aren't going to give you the results you want. And I think that's part of the reason that we shifted into that 5D was because you've got a lot of people that are working with things that they don't understand how they need to be working with them. And even though it's creating energy, it's not necessarily creating a lot of the energy that everybody wants it to. And yes, your intention is everything, but if you're putting together ingredients into a spell, and your correspondences aren't aligning, it's going to make a spell very wonky. Um, and for me, like all of my spell stuff, yes, I cross-reference my correspondences of, from numerous different books before I do anything. But I also follow the intuition side of it. And I'm excited to dive deep into stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn from you and learn from your wisdom about witchcraft and the practices using herbs and using crystals. And I mean, I've always been very attracted to crystals. I love energy and I feel crystals when I hold them. So that's something that I've always been just kind of I'm drawn to. In fact, like I can see a crystal right behind my computer. There are three of them behind the computer that are just there because these are the crystals that speak to me the most,
Mhm.
that are just here.
Yeah.
I have a whole room full of crystals everywhere, so
No,
this is
I get it
something.
completely. I'll give you a little insight. Like,
Oh, nice.
this is on my desk, and that's just my desk. Like,
It's beautiful.
and so yeah, no, I agree. Crystals, especially, like they're connected to the earth and they all have an energy. Um, Somebody once told me crystals are alive, and I completely believe it.
Absolutely.
When you
I
are
have a
connected to the
carnelian
earth.
that's changed. It
Yeah,
doesn't look the same as it did when I first bought it.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. What else? So we were talking about all of the upcoming events that we're going to be hosting collaboratively, that we host separately. And so we will definitely plug our upcoming events. And we're also really excited about doing this as a weekly podcast.
yeah.
So
And this episode is a little bit shorter because we both have an event that we have to get to within another community of people that's more business related than anything. But it's a nice little intro into what we're going to be doing. And I
for sure.
think that it'll be great to start putting all of our information out there and having an opportunity for people on Friday nights to sit down and instead of, because a lot of people sometimes don't like to go out. I know quite a few people that don't go out Friday nights. It seems to be kind of a dying breed, especially once you start being a very spiritual person. You just don't have the energy for it. It's very draining to go out and party every Friday night. And so I think it'll give an opportunity for a lot of people on Friday nights, especially within the spiritual community, to sit down and be excited to watch the podcast or hear the podcast if you're listening on a listening platform and not watching on YouTube. Um, and just to dive deeper into your spirituality.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Haley. This has
Thank
been
you,
so much
Stephanie.
fun. I cannot wait. This we're gonna weave some amazing work together and do this amazing thing. I'm so elated. Yay.
Awesome. Well, with that, till next week on the Art of Intuition, I'm Haley Baker.
And I'm Stephanie Buckland.
Have
Bye.
a blessed day.